Chapter 40. Jen. The smell of Michael's aftershave wakes me up. It's that minty, woody aroma, and as my eyes open, the blur shifts into focus on Michael's contoured torso, a towel round his waist. Wow, I say, making him jump. That's a good view to wake up to. Shh, he says, making more noise than I did. You're not supposed to be in here. He tries pulling on a pair of boxers with the towel still wrapped round him, nearly falling over in the process. I snigger. Surely now we're engaged, I point out. We've come this far, Michael says, whipping a polo shirt over his head. It's not long to wait. Something shifts in his eyes, and he sits down on the bed next to me. That is, if you're happy to go ahead. Because we really don't have to keep the booking, if you'd rather choose something different. I'm sorry if I made you feel like you had no choice in your own wedding day. I smile. Having a good night's sleep, and next to Michael, even though it was contraband, has put me in an amenable state of mind. I thought about it, and I realised that if we don't go with your date, we'll be looking at delaying till maybe next Christmas. I reach for his hand. I don't want to wait that long. He squeezes my hand and smiles with evident relief. Me neither. He leans in to kiss me, even though I must smell terrible, but I can't resist the opportunity to inhale him. It's like when I unwittingly sniffed a petrol cap as a kid and was nearly knocked out by the fumes. But Michael, I say, once I have the power of speech again, I need you to understand that this can't be a high-class event. I don't want tuxes and swans and ice sculptures, and there's no way my family can afford that anyway. Why do you think I would want that? He raises an eyebrow. I indicate with my hand, meaning to emphasise the house, but I end up pointing to his very ordinary desk chair. What I'm trying to say, I clear my throat, is that your parents have a lot of money, and my dad... This is our wedding, he says. It shouldn't be down to either of our parents to foot the bill. There's a lot of traditions that go with weddings. We don't have to follow them. Seriously? Says the guy who booked a church and took a true love waits vow? Michael's hypocrisy leaves me breathless sometimes. Okay, I mean the silly let's spend money we don't have tradition. So you're okay with keeping things simple, I emphasise, as if I'm talking to a Year 7 pupil who doesn't know how to underline the date. Of course, Michael affirms. Simple. He waits a beat before adding, so I'll cancel the 20-piece band then. What? Just joking. He leaps up before I can whack his annoyingly muscled shoulder. Do you want to get dressed for breakfast? I saw my mum making cinnamon rolls. One of the best things about staying here is definitely the food. I can smell the delicious aroma as we walk down the stairs, and it helps to ease the awkward clenching feeling in my stomach about facing the family as an officially engaged couple. Ezra and Heather are sitting at the dining table, and Heather greets us enthusiastically, while Ezra says good morning with a frown, which somewhat lessens the effect. Heather passes us a basket of cinnamon rolls, which are the size of my head, then starts pouring coffee. Rachel isn't there, so I feel less bad for sleeping in. How are you feeling? Ezra asks his son. Much better, thanks, Michael says, tearing into his roll. Thanks so much for this, Mum. My pleasure, Heather smiles. Jen, do you take sugar? No, thanks. I clutch the coffee cup gratefully. I think I'm going to need something stronger than tea for this conversation. We were hoping to be able to talk to you a bit more last night, Ezra begins, unable to resist the dig. But anyway, could you perhaps tell us a bit more about your plans for... He clears his throat here, struggling to pronounce the words. Getting married? Well, Michael chews and swallows, I booked the church for April the 12th. It's the first time he's told me the actual date, and my stomach flips with excitement, but also raw fear at how real and close that sounds. Heather must be thinking the same thing, because she gasps and Ezra starts spluttering and choking on his coffee. Do you mean this April? As in this year? He says incredulously. Oh great, this is a foretaste of what everyone's reaction is going to be like. Yes, Michael says in a why not kind of way. How exciting, Heather exhales. What's the rush? Ezra pushes. Michael's jaw sets. I found the woman I want to spend the rest of my life with, he says, and a warmth spreads through my cheeks. Ezra can't really say anything to that. Don't these things take a lot of time to prepare? He says, with less certainty this time, looking to Heather for backup. Well, it's a long time since we got married. She gives a nervous laugh. Jen and I want to keep it simple, Michael says, placing his hand over mine. We don't want a fuss. I catch Heather's eye and the flicker of disappointment in it. But we need your help, I say quickly, to Heather in particular. We want you to be involved. Michael looks at me in surprise. I know I said I didn't want it to be a high-class event, but I don't want to cold shoulder Heather when she's made so much effort to welcome me. If her cooking is anything to go by, she will be an amazing asset. She smiles warmly. Whatever I can do, I would be happy to help. Cinnamon rolls! Rachel enters with an old sweater and pyjama bottoms on. Thanks, Mum. She plonks down into a chair and looks up. I haven't interrupted a wedding planning meeting, have I? No, Michael says decisively, pouring her some coffee. Phew, she says, taking a swig. All that boring stuff about matching shades. Magenta, not red, Martello. Just don't choose yellow and it will all be fine. Well, I've already chosen a pineapple theme, I announce, so there will be yellow. Rachel's jaw drops open and I see Michael gulp. Oh, she says. Well, I'm sure that'll be great. I'm just joking, I grin. It was so worth it for that moment. Rachel guffaws in relief. I can't believe you just did that to me. I laugh with her, and Michael grins and shakes his head. Michael, I approve of your choice, she says, raising her coffee mug in a mock toast. Welcome to the family, Jen. 2 out of 3 ain't bad.